Alrighty everybody, welcome to a brand new video on Yammie Noob. If you saw the title, you already know what it is. Today's a very, very special one. I know I've been saying that a lot lately for the episodes, but we've got 3 brand new giveaway bikes, and before you see them, before I'm gonna show each one of them to you, hit the link down below, go to yammienoob.co. You can get signed up to win each of these motorcycles, get access to our Discord server, all kinds of cool stuff. The only way you can get signed up to win is down below on yammienoob.co, so be sure you do that, hit the link and check it out. But let's see our very first giveaway bike. We're gonna start it off with the Splash. We're gonna start it off with the big reveal first, our most expensive bike we've ever done. Spite? Oh, baby, a triple! Can you believe it?
This is definitely, I think, the best bike we've ever seen on one of these giveaways.
Ever.
Bar none.
This is the best, yeah. And I wanted to start off this video today by showing the big bad triple, the big bike we're doing, because we call it the beginner bike giveaway series, but this is definitely not a beginner bike.
Yeah, this is definitely, I mean, this could be your life bike here.
Absolutely.
It's for sure good enough to be the last bike you ever buy.
Yeah. So this is a Street Triple R. It's a 2019, so this motorcycle doesn't have the Öhlins front and rear like the RS. It's not the super top trim model, but to me that makes it stand out because of its street ability. It's got these Rosso 3s on it, which is a good tire to use on the street and on the track. And actually this was your first time today on a triple, so what did you think?
Yeah, absolutely. This bike was very surprising to me. I was kind of expecting something that was going to be really pitched forward, really racy. I mean, it's quick. It's got damn near 130 horsepower, but it's so usable and so smooth in its delivery. I mean,
and that intake sound.
It just pulls all the way to the top. It's so lovely to ride.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited about this bike because as you guys know, I'm a die-hard Daytona fan, and so this is the naked version of the Daytona, so this bike is pretty sweet. We're going to be seeing a lot more of it in the next couple of months. And remember, if you do want to win it, click the link down below and you can get started to do that. Spite, let's roll out bike number 2. All right, so up next is a bike that I think a lot of you have been thinking a lot about. It is a very tried and true platform for the small displacement category, but I wanted to let you guys know that even though this one's a small displacement bike, our last bike is not a small displacement bike as well. But let's check out bike number 2. Oof. With the orange and white, it's the KTM Duke 390. This bike's a little peach, man. I loved bringing it back home, ripping it around town, setting it to supermoto mode, which is the best thing that a little bike has ever had. Yeah, this thing's awesome. What do you think of it?
I mean, I've only ridden it around in the parking lot, but I mean, have you ever ridden a Super Duke?
No, I haven't.
This feels literally like an itty bitty baby Super Duke. It's incredible.
Awesome. Yeah.
How it's literally that same monster platform just shrunk down into a bike that, you know, isn't going to rip your arms off.
Yeah.
It's amazing the little fit and finish that this thing has.
Oh my God, yeah, the TFT display, the mirrors that are perfectly like almost 360 bendable, the upside down WP suspension, the braided steel brake lines, like this bike kills it, like crazy.
For what you're paying for a beginner bike, this thing has so much under the hood. It's so well put together, so well thought out.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I'm not seeing more of these out on the streets.
Honestly. Yeah. Because it's such an attention-grabbing bike, too, with this white and orange. And also, I know a lot of you guys are going to chime in, the reliability problems, the KTM, blah, blah, blah. This is the 2019 version. KTM has supposedly sorted a lot of that stuff out. So fingers crossed we're not going to run into any weird problems with it, but it is a more reliable motorcycle. It's just so playful, man. Like you get on it, it's tiny, it feels like the bars are right near your knees and you just want to like do dumb shit with it all the time. Yeah, like I said, my favorite thing was just chucking it into supermoto mode, which, you know, disables ABS. You start sliding the rear around everywhere. It's a blast. I don't want to call it just yet, but this is definitely one of my favorite little bikes that we've ridden ever. Like this thing is super fun, super, super fun.
Plus in the category, it's literally show-stopping. Just
Absolutely.
With the exposed frame, the aggressive KTM colors.
Yeah.
Very good bike.
Very, very cool bike. And of course, as you guys know, very big aftermarket support for this bike as well. You got KTM power parts, tons of support for this bike. People regularly do lots of track days on these as well. Very good platform. I don't really find it to be too dissimilar than the RC390 other than the pitched over ergonomics of that bike. This is basically the same motorcycle as the RC390. So good little thumper, single cylinder. It's a blast. I think super cool.
I'm really excited to take this one for a really good rip.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be very fun.
But let's see bike number 3, which might be a surprise to some people, I think.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Alrighty guys, this last motorcycle that we're giving away, probably gonna look familiar to a lot of you, and if you're in the know, you might look at this bike and say, hey, wait a minute, that looks really, really familiar. And you'd be right, because we did a version of this motorcycle last year. Spite, roll it on out. It's the Yamaha XSR700. So definitely one of the coolest new kind of neo-retro looking cafe bikes that are out there. And if you've noticed, if you keen observers start looking at this motorcycle, this is basically an FZ07, but wearing a little bit of a suit. So it's got some cooler looks to it, some different tires, a couple different things. But in riding it around, I thought it was a really, really different bike to the FZ07. Spite, what'd you think going around with it?
So this is my first time riding a FZ07, MT07 class bike. That crossplane is great. I love it. I just, personally for me, it feels a little too short. I feel like the tank should be higher, but otherwise, just the grunt and the way it wants to just go is really kind of eye-opening for a bike that claims to be a beginner bike.
Yeah.
You know, I could definitely see somebody getting a little too throttle happy and that wheel just coming right up on them.
Yeah. Yeah, the FZ07 is definitely well known for its wheeling ability, just on power alone in first and second gear, and this bike will happily do the same. You know, looking at it right now, I just noticed the seat has this really cool double, leather and almost like Alcantara type material here with the stitching. That's a really nice part. That looks really premium. The one part that doesn't look as premium is that gauge cluster.
Yeah, and I'll cut in some B-roll here, but this gauge cluster really is... It's really an eyesore.
It's a bit of a disappointment on this bike, honestly.
I feel like if they really wanted to do it right, what they would have done is put a nice big sweeping analog tack in here with a little digital speedo underneath.
Totally agree.
Honestly, it really is a big black mark on a bike that otherwise looks really great. You know, I may have my personal fitment gripes with it, but I can't deny that this bike just sitting here looks great.
Yeah, it is one of the best looking bikes in this kind of category. I think it'd be fun to just compare it side by side to the CB650R because it's a bike that has similar kind of, aesthetics to it. But yeah, this motorcycle is really, really cool, and I think the best thing we're gonna do to it is uncorking the stock exhaust and hearing that cross-plane sound. So one little thing I noticed about the XSR is, unlike the MT07, the FZ07, it feels a little bit longer, even though, I think it's the same platform, but they may have changed the rake a little bit. I know that this is extended out a little bit. When you're sitting on this bike, it has a bit of a long kind of presence to it, which I didn't really expect. Not really my favorite thing on it just yet. And then, Spite, you have one big gripe with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the main gripe with any Yamaha in the last 20 years is this.
We don't know why they keep doing it.
I mean, why, Yamaha? Why?
Why are you doing it?
They're terrible. So we absolutely are going to have to fix these.
We got to put LEDs on it.
Because I was following you back to headquarters here and just watching them kind of doing this. As we were going down Lamar, because that street's real bumpy right now, and you can just watch them wobbling in the wind. It really, again, it's just another dumb eyesore that the bike doesn't really need because they put better ones on the MT03. So.
Yeah, and it's weirdly anachronistic to this motorcycle. If they're trying to go for a cool neo-retro cafe thing, this doesn't fit either one of them because this is straight from the 80s, you know what I mean? So this isn't 60s vibe, this isn't 2020s vibe, it's somewhere weird and in between, so it just doesn't really fit. These tires are interesting as well. I don't know too much about these tires. This tread pattern is very unique. I haven't seen that before.
They look great.
They look cool.
They feel all right. I'm just the conspiracy theorist in me remembers that Fortnite video about these specific Pirellis. So I'm thinking these might be the kind of discount Pirelli tire, but they felt all right. And they really do kind of look very period correct.
Yeah,
on the
they
bike.
match the look of the bike a lot for sure. There's a guy on our Discord server actually who has basically this exact motorcycle, right? Castro,
Yep.
He has the XSR700 in this specific configuration. So Castro, we're definitely going to hit you up and see if you got any mod recommendations for this one. It probably won't be as clean as yours, but we'll try to keep it as spick and span as possible. But yeah, this is a great bike. I'm excited to see what it can do. Again, given that the base of it, the core bones of it is an MT-07, there's a great bike underneath there. And I think just given the looks of it, it's pretty sweet. But now we're going to roll in all three of them and just bask in the glory that is our brand new triple bike lineup. So let's do that.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, guys, I told you 2020 would be a pretty badass year, but I didn't think it'd be this good. This is pretty sweet, I gotta say.
Yeah, no, this is an amazing lineup of bikes right here. I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally 1, 2, 3. So
That pleases me so much. Yeah, 1 cylinder, 2 cylinder, 3 cylinder. And that's not even a V either. It literally goes 1, 2, 3. You know,
Yep.
It lines up perfectly. Oh man, it's a good time. And the coolest part about these bikes as well is that they were voted on by our Discord members, and it's crazy because this motorcycle, it was in contention with some really heavy hitters like a Z900, a KTM 790 Duke, a GSX S750, and this won by a huge margin. People voted on this bike 40%. The next closest bike was 19%. So clearly people really want to see the triple, and after riding it around and owning a lot of triples, I know exactly why. They f***ing rule.
they just wanted to see you on another Triumph on the streets, man.
I guess so, yeah, maybe that was it. I think the most surprising one of all right now is the Duke. That thing is so fun, man. It's so cool.
Yeah, it just riding it around, even just a little bit, it feels great. It's got you know, you'd think a thumper just feels a little wrong, like the DRZ wants to vibrate and shake and rattle your fillings out. This really doesn't. It feels
Quite
very
refined.
buttoned up and
Yeah.
pulled together.
Yeah. And then the XSR is just, you know, it's an MT-07 and a bit of a suit, so that's just a great platform waiting to be uncorked and realized. I'm really curious to see how it's going to do in the twisties because the MT-07 tends to kind of fall apart when you start kind of pushing it a little bit. So I wonder if they've made any changes to that XSR to make it a little bit better. Because I know the XSR900, they've made a couple of those changes and it is a little bit better to kind of throw around. But the so far the 700 feels basically the same. So we'll kind of see.
We'll have to. I actually do want to do a little research and see if it has a longer rake, because if it does, that's not going to help a bike that already falls apart. But it really does. Just looking at all three seems so much, you know, so much longer.
Yeah.
Especially side by side.
Well, I think to me it was the shocking part going back to back from the triple to the XSR. It's like this just darts right in, falls right into the line. That kind of flicks a little bit slower, but it'll still do it, you know? Still does it.
A lot of that is down to the Rossi 3s that this comes with over these Pirellis here. These are
Much more
some
V-shaped.
aggressive tires.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think that the RS version of the Street Triple comes with Super Corsas, which is literally a DOT competition tire that, you know, unless you're a hardcore track day rider, I really wouldn't recommend that tire for the street. It's kind of overkill because in the wet conditions, it just spins up constantly. The other thing I'd love to do on this bike as well, because it doesn't come factory, is a quick shifter. I think if you're gonna have a glorious triple cylinder like this, you gotta blip it up with a quick shifter because it is just orgasmic is the only way to describe it. It is just so good with the quick shifter. But I am really pumped on these bikes, man.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to have to go with a favorite already, I think it's got to go to the Triumph.
Yeah.
But each one of these is really good in their own right.
Totally.
I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that this has a built-in supermoto mode.
Amazing.
Awesome. The fact that this really does have almost a cruiser feel to it, but that awesome cross-plane twin bark, even with the stock pipe on there, you can really hear it underneath you.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these have something to offer.
Yeah, and then this one just razor sharp, perfect, subtle, velvety, kind of, oh my God, it's so good. But I think for me, if I don't want to be a fanboy and pick this one, because it is kind of my favorite, so far the 390 Duke has kind of been my favorite. I think out of the three, riding it back home, I had the most fun, you know, just getting the rear wheel around, just goofing around with it, having a good time. It's a sweet bike.
Might be a surprise hit. I'm definitely really looking forward to getting some seat time in all three, though.
Oh, yeah. And again, guys, just so you know, giving away these three bikes, so click the link down below and check it out. And tomorrow we will be publishing our kind of very first impression rides of each of these bikes as we came back from the dealership back here to Yammie Noob HQ. So don't miss that video tomorrow. That is coming out. And without further ado, without any more considerations, This video's over. There's nothing else to say in it. Goodbye. Have a good one. See you later. I'm so used to saying without further ado. I didn't know what else to say.
Perfect professional ending.
I'm so good. I've hundreds and hundreds of videos. Still can't get it right.
Cut to black.
See you guys later.